All right, Shalom Akim.
Shalom.
Yabba Shabbat Thumb. All right. All right, so tonight's the beginning of Feast of Tabernacles. All right, Most High's High Holy Day. It always starts off with a Shabbat, Kun. And as the Most High teaches, always, if you notice, all the Most High's High Holy Days start with Shabbat, Kun. Reason being because the Shabbat is, of course, one of the highest high holy days of the Most High. Most High created the Shabbat from the creation. So Most High says 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh is a day of rest, a Shabbat. So the Most High, every high holy day at the Most High gave us starts off with a Shabbat. A day of rest. Kun? So tonight's the Feast of Tabernacles. It begins, of course, it began at sundown, all right, and goes for 7 days. Then the 8th day is the another holy convocation. So the first day is a holy convocation, and of course the last day. So just go to Judges 5 and 11. Because we always have to reiterate this, because with the Most High's high holy days, his law, statute, commandments never ceased. Even though Most High kicked Israel out of the land, out of Israel, out of Jerusalem, out of Mount Zion, Most High, scriptures say he rooted us out of the land in fear and in anger. But the Most High did say that the land will enjoy her Sabbaths. Kun? He did say the land will enjoy our Sabbath. So the Sabbaths continue. The high holy days continue. Just because we're not in the land don't mean that it stops. So again, just because we're not in the land don't mean the law, statute, commandments stop. You don't stop keeping the commandments. Okay? I know, you hear that in the Christian world, that they feel that the laws are done away with, and you don't have to keep the commandments. And that's, of course, that's not true with the Most High. Okay, it's just like, are you going to break, the laws of this society? Understand? Because you don't have to keep the commandments of the Most High, so you're going to just break the laws. Even in this society, they have penal codes, they have statutes that you're supposed to abide by. So wherever you go, in America, you got to abide by those penal codes, Kun. It don't stop because you leave one city or leave one state and go to another state. Okay, the penal codes continue. So the same thing with the Most High. So for somebody who's going to teach the laws and statutes done away with, they're out of their minds. They're out of their minds. All right. So in Judges 5 and 11. Mr. Anwar, come up here in the front seat. You can read that for me. Let's read it loud. You can sit in the front seat and read. In Judges 5 and 11, it tells you we have to rehearse the righteous acts. So even though the high holy day, we're in the high holy day, the Feast of Tabernacles, the scriptures say rehearse the righteous acts. And so that's what we're doing tonight. And all of the Israelite camps and the brothers and the sisters in Yahushua are going to rehearse the righteous act, what we're supposed to do. Okay? Now, yeah, we can't do everything that the high holy day consists of, right? Some of us are here. We're supposed to be in tents. Okay? We're supposed to be in tents, but we can't do that. A lot of us can't do that, okay? Because we're in our captivities. So, but you can rehearse. You can understand that tonight's Feast of Tabernacles, high holy day with the Most High, and that you can praise the Most High, understand, in Yahushua, because it's the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's a high holy day. So the high holy day didn't stop because we're not in the land. All right. So it continues. So we're going to read Judges 5 and 11. Start off with that, Anwar.
Reading out the book of Judges, chapter 5 and verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water. There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Most High.
Right. So, and it says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers. The archers is talking about in the place of drawing water. So, drawing water, when you have to draw water, I mean, you have to labor to draw that water. So, America is one of those places where we had to labor. Europe is one of those places with the labor. Understand? Wherever we are sold as slaves and as captives, place of drawing water. In other words, we had to labor. We were sold as slaves. All right? And definitely America. So, and then we're delivered from the noise of archers. This is talking about our deliverance just before America is destroyed with the fire and brimstone, with the destruction. The Most High is going to bring destruction to America. All right? A lot of those so-called nuclear bombs that Esau has, they're going to be dropped on America. Okay? But the Most High is going to drop a lot of his fire and brimstone, which is the meteorites that are coming out of the heavens. And that has fire and brimstone. Okay? So but we're going to be delivered from that. The remnant of our people throughout the Western Hemisphere in America and so forth in the Caribbean going to be delivered from the noise of archers. Okay? And that's talking about the nuclear bombs and these so-called modern day times of nuclear bombs. Okay? And then it says, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts. See? There. So we're not in the land of Israel, Mount Zion, Jerusalem. But wherever you're sold as captives, the Most High said, there you're going to rehearse the righteous acts. So who are these brothers that say you're not supposed to keep the commandment, not supposed to keep the law, statute, commandments? Who are these brothers? They're off. You're supposed to rehearse, brother. And the reason why you rehearse is because it's like practice. Why does a person practice? To get better at it. You have time now because the Most High has given us that grace period. You have time to get better at it. So where you're lacking in certain parts of the laws and statute commandments, you can practice. So practice, right, makes perfect. Come? And you have time to practice it. That's a blessing, brother. Because the Most High said, mercy time shall soon be cut off. Well, there's not going to be no mercy now. And you're not going to get a chance to practice. You got to keep that commandment right then and there. You have a chance to practice. But the ones who are coming in now have a chance to go over it. And even if you fail at it, a little bit, you may fail at it, but you got the next time you do it right. You practicing. All right? So that's why we rehearse the righteous acts. Okay, so it's important. So, but you got brothers out there talking about you don't have to keep the law, you don't have to keep Passover, you don't have to keep the high holy days. No, we're rehearsing it, brother. Okay, because we're going back to Mount Zion and we're going to do it. Okay, come? All right, go ahead, finish reading now.
Even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Yasharallah.
All right, see? The righteous acts towards the inhabitants of Israel, Jerusalem. Because that's where we're going to start to keep it. In other words, when we're building in the kingdom of heaven and building the kingdom of heaven, we're going to keep those commandments. Okay, go ahead, up.
Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates.
Yeah, see, then when we begin to keep the commandments. That's why the Messiah got to deliver us in the wilderness first. Because Messiah want to see if you're going to be the one that's going to keep those the commandments that he gave us. And the ones who are not willing to keep the commandments, what's going to happen? You got to purge them out. So that's what the scripture says. He's going to purge the rebels out. Then the ones who are willing to keep the commandments are going to walk into Jerusalem with a two-edged sword. Come? So the rebels are going to be purged out. So, but it's a blessing to be able to rehearse the commandments now. Okay? All right, so that's what the Most High wants to do. Now you're going to get Leviticus 23. Again, we had the memorial blowing the trumpets. Okay, now we're in the Feast of Tabernacles. And you got to remember, the Feast of Tabernacles have to fall on a full moon. And we got the report from Jerusalem, okay, that it's a full moon. He sent us the pictures and everything. It's a full moon in Jerusalem. Tonight, brother, it's a full moon. The Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles have to fall on the full moon. If not, that means your calculations were wrong. Okay, has to fall on the full moon. Feast of Tabernacles and the Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, have to fall on the full moon. Okay, and that's the brightest part of the moon, the full moon, the bright part of the moon. When it's moon is at its brightest, the full moon. Come? All right. So the Feast of Tabernacles, Leviticus 23:34. Read that out.
Reading out the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 34. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah, say the 15th day of the 7th month. So we're in the 7th month, even though in the Gregorian calendar, okay, it's what month? What, the 10th? All right, it's the 10th month. But with the Most High, it's the 7th month. Showing you what the scriptures say Esau changed times and laws. And now everything is backwards, turned upside down. But we're in the 7th month, not the 10th month, the 7th month with the Most High. Okay, go ahead, Al.
The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles. For 7 days unto the Yahweh. 35. On the first day shall be an holy convocation.
Right, so we're in the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles, a holy convocation. So that's why it's a Shabbat. It's a holy convocation, a holy gathering. Come? So that's why when you read the scripture, we're going to go over it. The Most High says, all the males and all the people shall come up to the place that the Most High shall choose, shall go up to Jerusalem, which is where we're in the wilderness at this time, that you're reading in Leviticus. So the Most High told Moses, tell the people, the place I choose, where my holy temple is going to be, and we know it's Mount Zion now, the tabernacle of David, that's where the people shall come up and celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles and the other 2 high holy days. Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, and the first fruits. Those were the high holy days we were supposed to go up. And there was no excuse. You're supposed to go up to Jerusalem and find your way there. If you were 100 miles away, you find your way there. 200 miles away, you find your way there. Con? That law never stopped. It never stopped. We just fell into captivity, but the laws and statutes continued. Con? Okay. So the first day of Holy Convocation, go ahead, Al.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Yeah, it's a Sabbath. No servile work therein. Go ahead, Al.
7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
See? 7 days. How about that? 7 days we made an offering unto the Most High. Which means what? The sacrifices. Those are certain sacrifices. Each high holy day has a certain number of sacrifices. The priests were busy. Which shows you that the sacrificial laws, they're going to come back eventually. Because sacrifices were made on the high holy days. Con? Well, you can't do that now, right? So there's certain things you still can't do. So this is why the Most High has given us grace now, because we can't keep the commandment fully, but he did say you can rehearse. There's certain things you can still rehearse. So, but there were certain sacrifices made on each particular high holy day. And those sacrifices had to be made. Okay, go ahead, Al.
On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation.
And so the first day is the holy convocation, right? And then you're counting 7 days. You're still in the Feast of Tabernacles. And then the 8th day is a holy convocation. That's a Shabbat also. Come? You're celebrating both of those days as Shabbats, as a day of rest. But the whole 7 days is the Feast of Tabernacles and also it's going to explain how we dwelt in booths. Okay? Now, the word tabernacle comes from the word, and you read it in Hebrew, sakawath. That's where the so-called Jew get the word sakat from. If you go to Israel, go over there in Jerusalem, you hear them. Today is the beginning of Sukkot. What are they saying? The beginning of tabernacles. So here's how it would look. Okay, the beginning of tabernacles, Sukkot. All right, it'll be, of course, from right to left. Okay, from right to left. I mean, you might be looking at it, it might seem like left to right, but then the people on the watching on the video, it may seem like it's from left to right on the video, but it's from right to left, right? That's Hebrew, right to left. So Sukkot, Sukkot, Sakawath, all right? Sakawath in Hebrew. But the so-called Jews say Sukkot. Okay, Con? What they're saying is tabernacles.
How you spell it in Hebrew?
How
you spell it in Hebrew?
It's a sa, a ka, a wa, and a tha. The wa and tha are connected. So sakawath. Sakawath. All right, Con? All right. And of course, tabernacle could be a tent, a hut. Okay, that's why you see the the willows here, and the pine trees, and the willows, and the bow trees. Okay, so we just put this up to give you a good example of what we made our tabernacles out of, our tents. Okay, the word for tent is another word for tent also, a hall. All right, a hall. That's another word for tent. Okay. And as we read on down in the scripture, it's going to tell you why the Most High wanted us to remember the Feast of Tabernacles. And so, actually, right now should be the first day of us dwelling in our tents. Okay? So we're supposed to have a designated area where we would go out, or every Feast of Tabernacles, and build these tents out of bow trees and pine trees and willows. And we would be in them for 7 days. Okay, celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles. But we're going to read on down. It's going to explain. So this word is ahal. That's another word for tent. And then you got tabernacle. Sakawath. Okay, Con? All right. Okay, go ahead, Doc. Read on.
36 continued. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
Right. So you're going to make an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. So this is the 8th day now, a holy convocation, a Shabbat. Go ahead, Doc.
It is a solemn assembly.
See, solemn assembly means assemble yourselves. Come together. There's no way out of that. Come together. There's no way out of that. Come together. Okay, Con? So we're in our captivities now, so we can't do it specifically the way the scripture is saying, but we're supposed to come together in the place the Most High chooses. Go ahead, Doc.
And ye shall do no servile work therein.
See, and no servile work therein. Okay? So it's a Shabbat. So tonight starts off as a Shabbat. No servile work. All right? Not doing your own pleasure. All right, Con? All right, go ahead, Doc.
37. These are the feasts of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy.
Yeah, see?
Convocations.
Proclaim to be holy convocations. See? These are ceremonial laws. They're holy. Meaning you're going to celebrate it, praise the Most High, and offer up offerings and everything to the Most High. Because this is what the Most High asks for. So it's holy. Okay? Go ahead, Doc.
To offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice, and drink offerings, everything upon his day. 38. Beside the Sabbaths of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your free will offerings, which ye have unto Yahweh.
Yeah, so besides all your, about that, all the offerings of the Most High, right? Your gifts, your vows, see, your free will offerings. These are offering, free will offering is what? An offering that you give out of your heart. Whatever the Most High blessed you plenteous, then you come with a free will offering. That's not your tithes. That's just free will. All right? Whatever you feel, how the Most High blessed you, you want to come with an offering and you give it. All right, come. Go ahead, huh?
Leviticus 23 and 39. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land.
How about that? So the Feast of Tabernacles is not just we celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles, us dwelling in tents coming out of Egypt, right? It's not just that. It's also what? A feast of what? Ingathering. Okay? Where we gathered in the fruit of the land. And there was a reason why we did what they call an ingathering, and we would bring in all the fruit in the land, because why? Preparing for the winter time. You're preparing for the winter time. So the Feast of Tabernacles is also called the Feast of Ingathering also. We're going to show you that too. It's also called that. Go ahead, up.
Ye shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
Right, just reiterating, Moses reiterating what the Most High wants on the ceremonial law, okay? Feast of Tabernacles. Go ahead, up.
40. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before Yahweh your power 7 days.
Right, so this is why we got at the house of David. Right, we always have the brother go to a certain park that he gets the willows from, and the boughs of goodly trees and pine trees and so forth, and thick trees, palm trees. And we'll just give you an example of what the tents and the tabernacles were made out of. The tents that we stayed in the wilderness coming out of Egypt were made out of. Of course, we made it really, really strong. Understand? I mean, but we made it so that we could break it down easy also. Okay. We knew how to put it up and make it. And then when the Most High said it's time to go, that thing was broke down. Actually, you probably didn't have to break it down. You just get out of it and go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is trees.
Yeah, it's nothing but trees, right? Branches of trees, that's all it is. Understand? But I mean, we were able, that's how efficient we were as a people. We're in the wilderness now. And we can make a temporary hut or temporary housing and make it with different rooms inside and everything. Because you ain't going to sleep in the same area your sons and daughter going to sleep in. So you're going to make it, where you're going to, you know what I'm saying, have different rooms, I would make myself a 4-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom hut. I'm going to have the master bedroom. You know what I'm saying? And then, your wife may have her own bedroom, and your sons may have, and that's how you made it. You can make it that elaborate. We knew what we were doing. Just out of palm trees and willows and so forth. All right? And they were strong. They were strong. Kept the sun out. If it rained, all right, kept a lot of rain out, whatever. They were strong, okay? We're coming back to that, huh? So get ready. Get ready to be in the wilderness, right? Okay, go ahead, huh?
Verse 41. And ye shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations.
Yeah, see, a statute. Is that statute that stopped? The statute never stopped. It just never stopped. The Most High said, okay, it says I'm going to throw you into captivity and disperse you throughout all the nations in captivity. I'm going to stop the law, statutes, and commandments. No, he didn't say that. He said, I'm going to just kick you out of the land, but he didn't say we're going to stop anything else. See? Okay, go ahead, up.
Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
Say 7th month. Okay, we're in the 7th month. Go ahead.
42. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days, and all that are Israel born shall dwell in booths.
Everybody. How about that? Everybody. Everybody's dwelling in booths. See? And that's what we're supposed to be doing now. But because we're in our captivity in the ghettos and slums, we don't know how to do this. Who knows how to make a hut, a tent, a tabernacle out of willow branches and palm trees? I don't know how to do it. You know? Well, we're going to have to learn. This is why the Most High said rehearse. Remember, he said rehearse. We're going to have to learn. Because the Most High take us from here into the wilderness, who knows how to do it? So we have to be taught. We're going to be taught these things. It's important. And that command is important. Now, if you want to not do it and sneak back into your, penthouse or whatever, your house, you're going to be put to death. They're going to bring you out in the middle of the city and stone you to death. And Israel like big stones. Israel don't pick up small stones, they like big stones. And throw it at you. So think about that. Okay, go ahead, up.
Leviticus 23 and verse 43. That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths.
Yeah, see? So that's why we teach our children. See the little children around here? We're supposed to teach them. Because they're going to ask, look, Mommy, how come I'm not in my bed in the house? I'm in this booth and it has willow tree. Why, Ma? Why, Daddy? Because of what? And then you take out the law and read it to them. The high holy day, the Feast of Tabernacles, and read it to them. Okay, go ahead, up.
When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am Yahweh your power. 44. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of Yahweh.
Now get Deuteronomy 16:13. So this is Moses declaring the feast of the Most High. Highly, very important, man. Okay? Very important. The Most High's high holy days are very important. Okay, and we're also going to bring it up to Hamashiach. The high holy day is so important that from this time we come out of Egypt, given the commandments of high holy days, who you think was giving it to us? Hamashiach was giving it to us. You all understand that, Khan? Hamashiach was giving us the law. So what? When Hamashiach comes, when you read the gospel, when he comes during that time, he's not going to keep the commandment? Yeah, he kept the commandments. We're going to read how Hamashiach kept the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, he kept the Feast of Tabernacles also. Okay. Deuteronomy 16, well, whoever gets it now, and wow. Yeah, 16:13.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates.
Right, so it did say, thou shalt celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days, and we know the 8th day is a high holy day, is the Shabbat. But it said, after that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. Con? So we're going to show you it's also called the Feast of Ingathering, because you're preparing yourself for the winter time. Winter is about to come in. All right. There were three gatherings the Most High gave Israel. There were three harvests. You had the barley harvest, you had the wheat harvest, and you had this harvest, the wheat, the fruit and vine harvest. Okay? And they each came at different seasons. The barley harvest came during time of spring. The wheat harvest came around the time of summer, just beginning of summer, the wheat harvest. And then you had the fruit and vine harvest at around the beginning of fall, around fall time. Those are the three harvests of the Most High. Okay, the Most High gave Israel. And so here it is. We are at the Feast of Tabernacles. You would gather in all your fruit and corn, all right, and the things of the field that you could store in the storehouse. Why? Because in the wintertime, you're not going to grow any food. You're not going to plant nothing. You ain't going to grow any food. So if the Most High didn't bless you during the spring and summer season, then you're gonna starve. You're gonna be hungry. See, because you have no food stored in the storehouse. That's very important. So now, what if you were someone that just didn't want to keep the high holy day? See? Then the Most High is not going to bless your farm, not going to bless your crops to grow, and your food and the things that you planted. See, didn't the scripture say who gives the increase? See, you plant, so you're going to plant, right, the seeds, but the Most High is the one that's going to, and you water it too, and the Most High waters it, but the Most High puts the spirit in the seed for it to grow, and so that you can have food in your household for your children and your family. If the Most High don't get that increase, you ain't not having nothing. Come? And then you're going to be begging your neighbor over there, and your neighbor they're going to know something wicked happened, because why are you at my house knocking on the door for some food? You know what I'm saying? They're going to know that something happened. See? Okay, go ahead, Art. Read
Verse 15.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 16 and 15. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Most High thy power, in the place which the Most High shall choose. Because the Most High thy power shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice.
Okay. Now read 16.
3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh thy power, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread.
That's one high holy day. Go ahead.
And in the feast of weeks.
That's the second high holy day. Go ahead.
And in the feast of tabernacles. And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty.
Right. See? That was a command. That was a statute. That never stopped. Actually, we should all be in Mount Zion right now when you look at it, right? But but we can't. Everybody can't get over there. So that's why Scripture says what? Rehearse in the place of drawing water. You rehearse. That's why. Since everybody can't go over there now. Okay, come. So, but the Most High said, the place I choose, and we know that to be the tabernacle of David, Mount Zion, where the temple was. And all Israel was supposed to appear before the Most High on those specific 3 high holy days.